It's that time of year again, the season of cold winds and bare trees, warm hats and Christmas lights, short days and hot wine, and above it all, the season of snow. Yes, it's winter, so today I'm sharing 6 books I've read that truly capture a winter atmosphere. There is no place for autumn coziness anymore, only harsh snow and cold remains. Hello everyone, I'm Masha and you're at my channel where we read books, discuss books, buy books, look at books and speak highly incorrect English. Welcome! It was snowing recently here in Luxembourg and I still cannot get used to it because during the day it was a snowy disaster. Snowflakes were flying in all the directions possible. The streets were white. But when I went outside in the evening, all the snow had disappeared. That's funny. But snow is snow. And it got me thinking about all the books I read that embodies a winter atmosphere. Not those that are just set in winter, but the ones that are really feel cold. And so I created this list. But apparently I haven't read a lot. Because I think it's mostly because I'm not a big fan of winter and snow. I spent almost 25 years in a place with a dark, long, snowy winter seasons. It is not so nice as it looks like. Because yes, it can be very nice to look outside at all this snow, but you cannot stay inside for all the season. And also it looks magically for like one day in all the year when all the snow is untouched, when the sun is shining, and you have a day off and you don't need to go anywhere. Yes, at this particular moment it is cool, but all the other days, no, that's a disaster. It's just created slash and dirt, especially in cities where I lived. So yes, for me, winter, real snowy winter, is best when you are just visiting, not when you are living in this. But in any case, I found such books in my memory. The books where I remember winter being really important for the plot or for the atmosphere, and where I remember that feeling till today. So there won't be any books that are just cozy and nice to read during winter, wrapped in a blanket. No, I also did not include into this list huge books like family sagas, because they encompass a lot of years, I mean, dozens of years. And apart from the events happening during winter, there are a lot of events happening during other seasons, so no. And I think that's it. I've already said enough. Let's dive into the books. The first book, or better said, books, are Beartown series by Fredrik Backman, and I've read so far 2 books out of 3, and I need to mentally prepare myself for the last one. But anyway, the setting is very snowy because everything happens in Sweden during the winter season, or more or less winter season, and anything you can think of here. Heavy snow, long dark nights, constant chill, it's here inside those books. So just to give you some hint on what's going on inside of those books, the Beartown is a small town surrounded by forest, whose very existence depends on the hockey. And the story is about the members of teenage hockey team, their main coach, and his family. But it's not just about hockey. It actually speaks about quite tough topics like small town struggles, violence, victim blaming, toxic masculinity, the cost of true friendship, and so on and so forth. So the book is quite deep. The characters are beautifully written, especially the first book. The second book, not so much. The language, the Backman's language is stunning, although I did have a couple of problems with his narrative style, but those are mainly mine. And overall, the whole experience worth it, and I can only recommend to read this book. But be prepared that it's not going to be an easy read. Yes. Next is The Fatal Grace by Louise. This is a second book in her very huge detective series, but as with many mysteries, the main plot is not very related to the series, the whole plot of the series itself, and I think you can pick it up without reading the first one. The characters occasionally reference to the first novel, but I don't think it's really very spoiled the overall experience. For the context, I read the first one years ago, and I do not remember a thing, honestly, now, and I still enjoy the second book. But anyway, this book perfectly fits our today's list because all the events happens during the Christmas season in a snowy Quebec village, which means lots of snow and lots of layers of clothes, Christmas shopping, decorations, lights everywhere, and snowy landscapes. And considering we are talking here about a small village, those landscapes are gorgeous. And of course, the murder. And the murder here is also very winter and Christmas related because the person was killed during the curling tournament somewhere in the middle of the lake. And honestly, that might be the most exciting thing that ever happened in the world of curling. So yeah, if you're looking for a wintry detective read, this book might be a great choice for it. Next up is A Winter Promise by Christelle Dabos. I hesitated to include this book into the list because I do not remember very well the plot and the characters of this book, but what I do remember is how cold and snowy it felt when I read it, and I also like the world building very much. So it's here. As I remember it, the story is set in a world that's been fragmented into the celestial islands or arcs that are floating somewhere in space and time. And our main character moves from her home arc to the very freezing and snowy one to marry a cold and powerful man. And most of the story takes place in these icy settings on this arc, and I guess that's why I remember this book being so cold. Anyway, if the book left me with such impressions after all those years, something was there. And I also remember loving the magic system in this world and plot. Not the plot itself, but its intrigues, because I remember it being very intriguing. Anyway, I actually would like to read this book and eventually finish the series. But if you are into spooky mysteries, The Winter People by Jennifer McMahon might be for you. Everything about this book screams winter. The title, the cover, the setting, because everything happens here is a very snowy town in Vermont full of ghost stories and legends. The narrative alternates between two timelines: the past, where the grieving couple copes with the loss of their daughter, and the present one, where two teenage girls search for their suddenly disappeared mother. And the historical part, the first one, is beautifully written. I liked it much more than the second one, honestly. And especially all those emotions, the grief, all the struggles that they have, the feelings. And I also understand that it can be triggering for some people, so please take care of yourself. But anyway, if you want to feel some mystery and winter, this book is for you. Okay, this one is tricky, and I hesitated to add it to the list also because it has not been translated to English. It was originally written in Russian and available in some amount of other languages like German, French, Italian, Arabic, Chinese, Bulgarian, Latvian, Czech, Romanian, Serbian, Slovenian, and Danish, but not in English. If you can read in one of those languages, you are in for a treat. But a specific one. So the title can be translated to English something like The Petrov Family, The Flu, etc. And I decided to add it to the list. Still, because for me, as a girl from Eastern Europe, this book has an ultimate winter vibe. The book doesn't have a traditional plot, instead is a set of interconnected scenes that the reader can interpret their own way, and for me, it perfectly captures the winter in Eastern Europe, the gloominess and darkness of early mornings and later evenings, all those piles of snow everywhere, the cold public transport, the flu, but also very, very warm homes, soft sweaters, gathering with family and friends on the comfy kitchen and looking through the window on the snowfall, celebrations, Christmas lights everywhere. And honestly, this is one of my favorite books of all time. It's nostalgic, it's bleak, but it's beautiful all at once. Quite funny thing just happened. I was going to talk about another thriller, very cold thriller with vibes of Saw film series, which actually, not the film but the book, traumatized me a little bit and I lost my faith in humanity, not because of the events happened in this book, but because of the person who recommended it to me. But I just checked, and apparently this book is also not translated to English, which is funny because I thought that it is originally written in English. But no, it is written in French. I don't see any point to talk about this because it's not my favorite. And not so many people can read it. But as a thriller, it was good with a lot of unexpected turns and very cold. So if you want me to talk about this, tell me no in the comments. But yes, oops. Well, last but not least, book is a fantasy novel, or even more fairy tale, targeted to children or teenagers, I would say. The sun and moon, ice and snow, and it's inspired by a narration fairy tale, and I personally liked it. The main character, the girl, she is nice, she's likable, she's smart, her actions are understandable and clear, which is quite important for me, or this was very important for me at the time. And she's able to communicate with animals, which I found charming. The snowy Nordic setting is beautifully described. Icy winds, reindeers, winter rituals, it's all here. So if you want something cozy and magical with strong winter vibes, it's a wonderful choice. So that was it. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books or if you plan to pick them up. Also tell me your reading plans for the winter season. Thank you for watching till the end, I really appreciate it. Good luck, happy reading, and see you next time.